Hello and happy Avowed week, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and friends. And as you can see, well, we do have one friend here. I would even dare say I'd call him brother, and that is Kay Asante. Kay, how you doing, brother? Welcome back. You are quite enjoying Avowed. We're going to break that down later on in the episode, but how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm doing good. I hope everybody else is doing well as well. It's been one of those weeks as it were. So I'm happy to be here. Happy to, as I always say, this is my favorite podcast to kind of get through hump day with. So, when you're here, you've made it. So salute to y'all and let's talk some gaming.
Indeed, indeed. Now, obviously, you see there's someone missing from the panel. Hargeet Chani is not going to be joining us today. He is dealing with some personal family stuff, which, we wish him all the best of luck and well wishes to him and his family. I would imagine that by next week, he could potentially be back, but we will see. He hasn't left the show. He's going to be here every Wednesday, as he's been for over a year now. It's just that he's dealing with some family stuff. But, of course, we can't talk about Avowed without having Infinite Umbra join us. That's right. He's got the link. He'll be joining us momentarily. He unfortunately fell asleep because he works midnight, so he didn't get a chance to talk about Avowed on Tuesday. Well, he is raring to go because he has a lot of hours in the game, and quite frankly, it is something special. But I just crossed, Kay Asante, the 90-hour mark in this game, and I have not beaten it yet. And I don't think I'm actually close to beating it. But that's because I'm trying to go here, there, and everywhere. I'm trying to find every nook and cranny on the map. The one thing, again, we talk about this all the time. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not A to Z this thing. Again, how you play is how you play. But I've said this in a tweet. I said it on the show, and I will reiterate it right now. The more that you invest into Avowed, the more riches you are awarded. Meaning that if you take the time to look around the corner, if something doesn't look right, it normally isn't. If you see something high and you think you can get to it, there's probably a chest up there. So try. You know what I'm saying? I am going to say there are a lot of things, and we're going to get into it in the second half of the show about what they've done here. Obsidian has, I think, redefined what control in an open world RPG needs to be moving forward. They have made some advancements in the way that you switch builds by pressing a 1Y button. It is amazing. And one of the most astounding things that I've seen, besides the incredible word of mouth that this game is getting from so many people in the community, is how different, Kay Asante, everyone plays this game. I mean, like for instance, C Money's wife played it in third person from start to finish, and she played with guns the entire game. I came into this thinking that I was going to be some barbarian, some Conan the Barbarian type, where I was going to hack and slash my way all the way everywhere. And after loading up on, the fighter class, I got a taste of the Gilmore and a wand, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second, this is really good. I respect my whole thing, and now I'm full on wizard. I feel like Gandalf. It's great. I am just ripping dudes apart. But listen, as we wait, before Umbra to get in here, what's been, we'll get what has been your thought on the way this has been received by the community on social media?
So I think anecdotally, this will crystallize my thoughts on how this has been received. I was lucky enough to get my hands on a code. So shout out to Xbox for providing me a code. I did not ask early enough, and as such, I was not part of the early wave. So the early access period is when I was able to start playing it. So like most people that got into that early access period, I was able to get my hands on it. So I've been starting to play it. And what really astounded me was I posted a photo, right? Most people, I know that it just went officially live recently, right? But before
Yesterday,
then,
yes, yeah,
exactly. But before then, it hadn't gone live. So on the day that I posted this thing, which was the February 17th, which was 2 days ago, on Monday at 3:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, most people hadn't played it, right? As I sit here and I chat with you folks, the this post that I posted, where it just had some photos from the game, and I said, "Hey, this game is stunning. It is really beautiful." Right? As I chat with you and chat with you people, 13.9 thousand people have
holy
interacted. Okay.
matrimony! That is an epic tweet, kind sir.
Every 5 minutes when I look at my phone, someone has liked those photos. And I'm just like, more people are playing it now. I would think that you're experiencing it for yourself. Why has this thing taken a mind of its own? Like, people are really loving this stuff. I honestly think that it's one of those situations that we see time and time again where critical reception sometimes misses the mark compared to like the users that go in and play, because critically it was getting mixed reviews. Some people were criticizing it here and there. There were some really good reviews, which, like, shout out to them, because they recognize what we're all playing and we're loving now. But
Right.
some of them were just being seemingly unusually critical and having
I
critique
would
of
even dare
like
say disingenuous to some extent, right? There was
you
there was
know
some of that out there, yeah.
and because my brother Infinite Umber is here, I must also point out they were criticizing the limitations of the engine were causing them to criticize the game. Right? You can't shoot fruit and have the fruit like die because it's fruit. Like, yeah, what happens in Unreal Engine 5. Like, that's just not what happens, right? But still, they were somehow able to put on a pretty darn good open world like RPG experience that really seemed to appease the users who've given it a shot. Do you disagree?
I don't
I mean,
disagree. No.
I mean, listen, Umbra, welcome, and of course, it's Avowed Umbra, Unreal Engine 5 Avowed Umbra to all of you
That's
people.
right.
Just
That's
just
right.
so you
That's right.
know,
Yes.
who we're talking to.
To the
How you feeling,
unenlightened.
brother? Welcome back, man. Great to have you here.
Happy to be here, brother. I missed Tuesday, of course. Man, it's cold here in Chicago, and all I can tell you is the comfort of warmth in the bed is a killer, and it got me. I sat on that bed and was like, I was out of there, and I woke up like, oops. So happy to be here with you all tonight. Yeah, loving about
happens to the best of us, brother. Happens to the best of us.
yeah,
Don't worry about it.
yeah.
Well, you know what? We're going to get everyone's take on the second half. What I want to open with, gentlemen, again, this, folks, just so you know, transparency and everything. We're going to run a show about 70 minutes, maybe 75, give or take, with outros. Normally, this only runs about 90 minutes, but I know that there's a lot of conversation going on with this new quantum chip that is supposed to revolutionize Microsoft as a company and actually gaming as we know it. There's some talk about this particular chip being the chip that's going to be used for next generation. And it does line up with what, of course, Sarah Bond said last, I think it was January, where she talked about next gen hardware, how they're doing things different, and how they're going to be backwards compatible as well as forwards compatible. It does seem like this chip, this quantum technology, is at its core. We will get to this at some point this week. I'm not sure which show, but we will get there. What I want to do is I just want to celebrate the amount of fun that the community is having with Avowed and get everyone's hot take. But I do want to open up with this, gentleman. Now, of course, Aaron Greenberg, obviously, everyone knows who Greeny is. For many years, as we know it, Xbox Game Pass has been known as potentially a killer of game sales, right? It has been used in rhetoric, it's been used in articles, time and time again, where, Xbox players don't buy games, which, of course, is the false narrative. But one of the things that has really taken on I guess, a form of its own is the Steam sales charts, right? Well, for Xbox Game Pass, gentlemen, and chat, there are two versions. You can get Xbox Game Pass Ultimate on your console. No big again. Shocking it. Yeah, we can do that. But you can also get it on PC. And when it goes to PC, obviously there's this thought that, well, no one on PC is going to buy the game. Well, we got some information that is really interesting and just goes to show you that there is something special here. Avowed isn't just a major release for Xbox and PC in 2025. It is a phenomenon. There is just no doubt about it. It has done something on two parts of the scale, which is just, I think, brilliant. One, it has unified a community that was a bit fractured, and everyone is talking about how amazing this game is. The conversation isn't whether or not it's going to go to PlayStation 5. The conversation is how amazing. Oh, I found this weapon. As a matter of fact, I didn't know this, and I run an ice build. Some guy, I got to get his name. He's like, hey, if you didn't know, you could walk on water when you do the ice thing, because as you're walking, it turns to freaking. I'm like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? And these are the kind of
freeze water and use it to walk on places.
And just like, it's like it circles you, and as that spell is cast on you, it's like a shield. You can walk on water. It's freaking amazing. Like, I would have never thought to do that.
Are you telling me they let you turn to Jesus?
Maybe about Jesus, possibly. So where am I going with this, folks? Where I'm going with this is Aaron Greenberg tweeted out something that I think needs to be celebrated, because it does ultimately chop down any of the narratives about people buying games or buying Xbox first-party games. And, well, according to Aaron Greenberg, and I'm going to read his tweet verbatim, ladies and gentlemen, it says, thanks to everyone who made Avowed the #1 selling game in America again. We are also currently #1 selling game in the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Sweden, Finland, and more. And this is, of course, on Steam. And the Steam rankings I have in front of me are the top 8. And obviously, it's the top 100, but we're not going to get into the top 100 games on Steam. We're just going to give you the 8 that are up there. Avowed is #1. The Steam Deck itself is #2. Monster Hunter Wilds at #3. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. That's not a surprise. That's at #4. Counter-Strike 2, #5. Civilization 7. That just came out at 6. Marvel Rivals, again, not surprising, at #7. And at #8, Sea of Thieves, the 2024 edition, which is, again, selling on Steam, which is bonkers. Gentlemen, this is, for some people, this might be a bit of a surprise, but we've all played it. And most of the people in the chat here can't wait to talk about how they've been playing Avowed. Que Asante, this is not, for some, yes, a surprise. For me, not really. When there's a game this good, people are going to buy it.
Well, so the reason why this is not surprising to me at all is because this is like, if you've played this game, you know this is a PC game. That's what this game is, right?
Yeah.
It like these days, today, you know, oh, youngin that is listening to the sound of my voice, unless you're a graybeard like me, you know that certain demographics and certain genres just did not play on other platforms back in the day, right? These kind of hard RPGs, these kind of real systems heavy RPGs were never finding their homes on console, right? The issue used to be that they couldn't find control schemes that were standardized, that were possible for it to do it. So games like Neverwinter Nights and the rest of them would never make their way to consoles. It would take a long time for them to find their home here. So obviously we live in a world of today where all those issues have since been resolved. So all of these waters are now becoming muddier and muddier, and I think that's awesome, right? But I say all that to say, because that has historically been the case, there's a strong lineage of these kind of games on PC. That's why Skyrim crushes on PC even to this very day. That's why, even though they release an umpteenth version of it that says, ha ha, we know you have all the DLC, but we're releasing it again just because we know you want to buy it edition, somebody will still buy it because They love these kinds of games, right? And then they rank other games by the last game, right? So I knew for sure that on PC, this game would crush, right? This is right up the alley of what do you call it? The folks that made the last recent one, the one that you compared it to, Boom, the one with the bear that people kept
BG3.
referencing.
Oh,
Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate 3.
Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate 3. Baldur's Gate. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same kind of D&D kind of energy, but it's different enough that it just harkens back to some freshness that you're not used to playing these kinds of games. And to your point, Boom, the reason why I think it's really reaching audiences and captivating audiences is they have indeed found some very unique gameplay avenues that I don't think most people have seen before, which is that loadout switch out, like instantaneous loadout, which on the fly, like it really is. This is really game your way the game. You want to play in third person, go for it. You can play the whole game third person. Right? It won't bother you one bit. You want to play in first person, play the whole game. It doesn't even make you feel like you're missing anything when you're in first person. You can play this thing guns out the whole time. The whole game guns out. You can do that. You could play this as a wizard. You could be Harry Potter, the whole situation. And by the way, let's be really clear. When you play it as a wizard, the wizard gameplay avenues are exactly like the Harry Potter game that came out not too long ago. Right? The same flickering motion, the same well thought out mechanics. It's almost like they borrowed their homework a little bit on that one. And I think it was great.
I feel like they might have, yeah. You could
right? And I think it's great. It's almost like they went, you know what? Like the Arkham games kind of defined combat. These guys have defined wizarding. Let's just use what they've defined. And I'm happy about that, right? It makes it snappy and great and beautiful. And you can switch between it, and at a moment's notice, now you're sword and board, or you're two swords, or you're a sword and a shield, or you're a grimoire wizarding book and a gun. Like there's just so many avenues for you to play it your way, and you get into a rhythm, and you start putting points into the parts of the game that you think you the parts of the weapons that you like the most, and it just gets better and better over time. I mean, like this game, I'm very, 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 very impressed with it. And I am not surprised at all, not the slightest bit, that it's crushing on Steam. Like I am not the slightest bit.
And it's really good to see. Again, we're going to get into our personal experiences, and I mean, of course, we want to hear from the chat, like what's been your like oh my god moment, because I've had quite a few of those. Just it's again when this game hits from inception. But Infinite Umbra, you're a PC guy, right? Obviously, you know, there are a lot of people in the chat here. We got almost over 350 people watching live. So, of course, thank you, everyone. There are a lot of, rig owners here, right? Whether they have 4090s and they're just waiting in the wings for the 50 series to come out. But this is a big deal because, you know, quote unquote, as it's been told to us numerous times by numerous publications as well as community members, Xbox players don't usually buy games, right? Why? Because we get them for quote unquote free. But there is an avenue on PC to get these quote unquote games for free. And Steam has once again proven that PC players do in fact buy games. Because right now, Avowed, one of the biggest games of the year so far, and again, it is still only February. We still have, you know, another 10 months left of the year. But make no mistake, this is a phenomenon, and it is selling like hotcakes. Let's talk about it, man.
You know, it's doing really well. The part that gets me and annoys me is that we got so many bad faith actors in this.
Yes.
That I wonder just how, I guess, how influential they've grown, unfortunately, because I see a lot of people, oh, I'm not playing this because of that one person that said this thing or whatever, right? And you see a lot of people doing it. So you have, I don't want to throw out names, I guess, to keep it respectful, but you have a lot of them who I think are ruining gaming discourse. I've said this many times before. And I think that as good as this game is doing on Steam and in general, I think it would be doing that much better without trash like that present.
Great point. Yeah.
That said, everybody who's playing this game disagrees with a 7 and 8, 6, excuse me, rating that people have been giving it. Some of those people who gave it 6s and 7s. The audience is much like looking at the Captain America Brave New World reviews, right?
That's a freaking great one-to-one. Please, please elaborate on that, because the trades are panning it. But Marvel fans, first of all, I am so proud that Anthony Mackie is my Captain America.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go see that. I'm going to support it. I'm going to go see that in the movies 3 times just so he comes back as Captain America.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. See, Boom is a real ally, y'all. Y'all got to get like Boom. But I'm with you on that. And the thing is, it's like the whole argument stems off stupidity anyway, because just off the Mackie situation, because Falcon clearly was Captain America in the comics.
Yeah, and he still is.
I don't know why people feel like, yeah, he still is. Exactly. I don't know. It's a silly argument on its face, right? But that aside, you look at the critical reaction to it, and I think they miss the boat, so to speak, right? And you see that all across the board at times. You see that happen with games like Rise. Who of us don't believe that they deserved a 60? You see it with Mad Max. It's a 69 meta. No way in the world does that game deserve just a 69. You know what I mean? And then you look at something like this with Captain America, Brave New World, and it's sitting at like what, the 50s, 55, I think.
Yeah,
and the audience scores at 80.
Yes, high 80s.
A vast difference in what they think we want versus what we actually do want. And this game right here is a prime example of that. It's not the Skyrims I think that the critics may have wanted, and so it's not that they kind of it's not doing this great, and some people I've always had this argument that I see people bring up and the critics bring up. It's not reinventing the wheel. Why does it need to?
Exactly.
All I need is a great, competent game. That's it. And this game is that. I don't need it to be Skyrim Part 2.
I just hate to bring up the fact that the reason why it is not reinventing the wheel, the reason why it is not doing the Skyrim thing is because that is a limitation of Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, hey,
I'm just saying. I'll go back on mute now. Excuse me.
Listen, yeah, hey, that aside, you have to get in there.
Just saying.
I see what.
Whenever you guys get together, you know that you're going to get some sort of UE5 slander. It's just par for the course.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get Elon and Doge to for me. But yeah, like the thing is, like, it's crazy though, because this is one of those examples where I think the critics got it wrong, and not all of them, of course, because some are like where we're at right at the moment. Right now, I'm a day and 15 hours in, just I think a few hours above you, right, Kay? And so
yeah, you're about 15 hours ahead of me. Yep.
So we've got some time in now, and I got a good sense of what this game is. Boom. When I tell you I saw every single nook and cranny and corner of that first area,
I believe you.
Just got to the second area.
Good for you.
I only just got to that, the what you call it, the stair, Emerald Stair. Just got to it earlier. So like that's how far entrenched I was into making sure I saw everything. And that fog of war, damn you.
Obsidian. And they're serious about their fog of war, because you literally have to go right to that piece of fog to get it to go away. Because I'm like you, I'm trying to unfog everything.
It's insane.
It is a OCD nightmare.
It's an OCD nightmare for a fact. I'm sitting there like, man, if you don't get this cloud out of my way, like you need some type of Assassin's Creed system in here or something. Well, I need to look around and highlight something from a higher vantage point. No, that right there is tearing me apart. They're going to have to address that at some point, because I don't like my map not showing everything. But that aside, I just noticed how engrossing that is too. And you said it way back, Boom. Well, not way back, but you said it some episodes back. You said you feel you get Skyrim Oblivion vibes from it. And that is a Skyrim and Oblivion staple.
Yep.
Going around having to travel and literally journey to those parts of the map. That Oblivion and Skyrim did the same thing. So it definitely has the DNA of a Skyrim and an Oblivion, right? And then you have the charm of what Obsidian brings to the table with the character interactions, their characters in general, from Kai to Marius to I forget how do you say her name. How do you say that? I forgot how do you say it.
Yeah, there's a way to say it
where
it sounds. Yeah,
the feisty one. But yeah, she, seeing how they all interact and everything like that, I think is a big draw to it as well. It just has a lot of character and charm to this world, and the game is just flat out gorgeous. How many times do I have to say this? And it really brings you in, and like you all spoke on, the combat is really
is how you say her name.
Yatzel. How do you say it? Yatzel.
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. So like the game is just really it really draws you in, and I'm just really taken away by it, honestly. And I feel like, again, this is something that the critics kind of, and those who got it the 6s and stuff like that, and even those with a 7, I don't think this game is worth a 7. I look at this, and just the time I have in it right now, I'm sitting at an 8.5 out of 10 right now. And before,
you literally just got to the second.
Just got to the second area.
Yeah.
And so, KU, if you remember, I said that the game, I thought that the critic review score total would be an 85 meta. Yep. So that's where I'm sitting at right now, currently, and I'm sure there's going to grow once I get further in. So like I'm already at an 8.5 or 85 out of 100, whatever you want to call it. So I'm loving the game. I have to say they did a great job. I don't know why I doubted them a little bit. I think I had other people kind of influence that, because I was on the Infinite Podcast with Risking and the guys before, and I was the only one bigging it up. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Oh, it looks great, blah, blah, blah. And the more time that went past, the more it got to look even better over time.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that they got the time to actually work on this. And this, to me, we were talking about this, on the GCP chat. And one of the things that myself and Lucius talked about, Boom, just to shout him out, we were talking about what the sequel could look like.
Yeah, see, dude, I got some thoughts.
I got some thoughts. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of a game like this. I don't really get that feeling for a lot of games. I don't get that, man, I wonder what they could do for this. This actually gives a sense of wonderment for me, where I feel like they have nowhere to go but up, or as far as what they can implement going forward. People complained about, oh, you can steal things and people won't say anything. Well, they can implement that now, right? They can implement that in the next.
Again, that's a great point. That you know what, and I want us to go further in depth with that, because I have some points of contention I'd like to bring to the table. But I just to come back around, are you surprised it's selling well on Steam? Because you know what vibes I'm getting from this, and I know it's not an exact 1-to-1. Folks, if you remember Guardians of the Galaxy 3, when it came out, its first week, it underperformed, right? It underperformed. And what happened week 2, 3, and 4, word of mouth exploded James Gunn's last film, and it blew up all the numbers. And I kind of feel that is gonna, this game is gonna have a long tail, because the more that we keep talking about it, the more people are going to flock to it. And I think that just based on, and I know it's sitting at an 80 Metacritic, and I don't agree with that at freaking all. And I read some of the 6s, I read some of the 7s, and I'm like, first of all, how many hours did said person put into this game? Did they put 15, 20, 30? I just crossed the 90-hour mark in this game, and I am nowhere near beating it.
Oh, man.
I am trying to do everything. I am looking for every side mission. I actually just completed the achievement for finding all 28 pieces, including the 4 totems. I found the 4 totems, and I found each totem. And if you're not sure what the totems are, when you go to your camp, there's a stand where you put these totems. What are the totems used for? Yeah. They give your party boosts, buffs, and you can pick which one of the 4 equal your play style. And to get the maximum buff on your entire party that goes out, you need to find all the pieces. So first you got to find the totem, which is piece number 1, and there are 6 other pieces scattered in that area, and you can find, like a clue, like, they show you like a picture of like a mountain. You have to try and go and find it. I found everything.
It's
Now,
a
I'm
pro
not
tip
gonna.
for that, by the way.
What's
Boom.
that?
It's a pro tip for the totem. They by default they have it turned off of your.
I know. Yes.
Don't ask me why they did that, but they have it turned off of your GPS or your compass, whatever you want to call it. Should I say compass? And so you have to go into options and turn it on so you can see it. I just lucked into finding mine.
I used a guide for 5 out of the 28 pieces. I found everything else myself. So I again, are you surprised by the sales?
I'm not so much surprised as I am happy. I want to address something really quick. Return true. He said again, 80. He kept saying that 80. 80 is consistent. Well, where's the discrepancy? Relax, brother. I'm saying I was speaking on 2 different things when I said the 80. Just so happens this game got an 80. I think it should be higher, but whatever. 80 is fine. It's a great game. I was talking about the Captain America score when I mentioned the 80. I was saying the fan review or the fan reception is 80%. Versus
the critic,
whatever.
Yeah, which of course
that's what I was saying. And I was saying that some reviewers of this gave it 6s and 7s, which I don't think it deserved. I think it deserved higher than 6s and 7s. There was no inconsistency in what I was saying. But getting back, not so much surprised as I am happy. Again, I think that it could be selling even better, in my opinion, had it not been for bad faith actors. And I think they may have spoiled some of the sales. I think the same thing happened with Veilguard, unfortunately. And Veilguard deserved more because it was actually a good game. Yeah. And it's so sad that people got distracted by, oh, Tosh is they, them. Like, get over that. It's only like not even 5 minutes of your time that you can skip the dialogue of. And so things like that, I think, have helped ruin the potential of where gaming can go. And I'm not even defending them for how they use Tosh. It was a stupid implementation of that. But I'm just saying, like, people get hung up on the wrong thing and have allowed these grifters to come along and really ruin their enjoyment of things or things they would have enjoyed. And this is, I think, is suffering a little because of that. I think the sales should be even better, honestly, right now. But I'm going to guess. I'm going to at least assume that some of these people are like probably like, I don't know. That lady said this one thing this one time. Like, I'm going to guess that's part of it, right? Because somebody else said it and I got to be mad now.
Well, this reminds me of the whole Hogwarts situation. You had the author of the books say some things that a lot of people didn't disagree with, and somehow the development team was punished. They had nothing to do with her. They didn't even interact with her. She's simply just the owner of the IP. They made an amazing game, and there were people protesting, I'm not reviewing this game because. Come on. I mean,
yeah, silly.
It's ridiculous. But listen, we're going to move on to experiences and our personal experiences. Now, I'm not going to go first because I've been talking about this game for days, and I'm going to continue to talk about this because at every turn, there's something more amazing. And
this is how you know you're loving it, by the way, because you've had this on your radar for all these shows, and for good reason, in my opinion.
It's the game that just keeps giving and giving. I'll put it to this way. So it's Wednesday, and obviously I put a lot of work in. I say work a lot. I played a lot during the weekend in the overnights. Some people were like, "Hey, Boom, I saw you up at 3:38," and I'm like, "Yep, that was me. I was playing Avowed because that's all." But the other day, there was a particular mission for one of the people in my party, and I got to a certain part of it, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to stop. I'm getting tired." I went to sleep, and I dreamt, "Oh man, what do I do now?" And I saw the choices. In my dreams, and I went
You're dreaming about this game right now in real life.
In real life.
Oh man, you're the godlike. They're contacting you in your dreams.
So what happened? I got up and I look at the clock, and it's 3:02, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to fall back asleep. I played to 4:17 in the morning and had to get up at 6, and I'm like, man. It was epic, man. Just good stuff. But let me bring this back around to Kay Asante. But Kay, before we get to you, brother, let me just thank a couple people in the chat here. We have Adidas 20, who's been a channel member for a whopping 25 months. Brother, salute to you and thank you so much. He says salute to all. Indeed, Adidas 20, salute to you and the fam. Thank you so much for the generosity.
Chicago brother.
Mac, he has it like separated, so I don't know if I'm mispronouncing it. I probably am because I'm terrible at code names like this. But Mac in the chat, who's been a channel member for 5 months, he says Sam Wilson's first appearance in Captain America is 1969, issue 117. FYI, there was no such thing as woke in 1969. Shaking my head. Exactly. Yeah, I know. Listen, folks. The woke thing with Sam Wilson is I don't understand. It's just stupid. It's an argument you're going to lose every time. I saw a couple of people say this, and I'm being generous because I don't want to ban people for stupidity, but you give enough, you give people to walk out on the edge. Eventually, they're going to fall off, right? So don't be stupid in the chat. We're here having fun. There is no wokeness with Sam Wilson. Captain America. He is again, crying out loud, he was the Captain America, and he's still Captain America in Marvel Comics. I don't even know how we got here, but please. And this game again,
factors. I'm telling you, these people profit from this.
Yeah, I know.
They're stoking the flame. This is an old trick. By the way,
it's a shame.
E-Ranks makes a great point, just a little offhand. He says he can actually understand the sixes. It's a game to be savored, not one to rush through like some of these reviewers did, which is a great point because some of these reviewers get their review done in 3 days.
4 days. Yeah, I saw Xbox Ever report on that they were talking to a few people that were actually posting reviews after 3 days of play. Like, how do you even do that?
Yeah, this game is not made for that, in my opinion.
No, it is not. It is not. But Mark in the chat. First of all, Mac, thank you so much for that information. That is awesome. Appreciate you, brother. Mark in the chat drops a very generous $10 super chat. And Mark says this: I primarily play on PlayStation, but I love Avowed. When you put time into the game, it just opens. A 9 for me. It says he's giving it a 9. That's awesome. The game reminds me of an open world Fable. Congrats, Obsidian. A must-have end of story. It's fun. Yeah, I mean, listen, brother. That's congratulations. First of all, Mark, thanks so much for the generosity, brother, and welcome as always. It doesn't matter where you play, as long as you're enjoying gaming. That's all that matters. But Kay Asante, you and I were talking before. Avowed Umbra got into the joined us, and the one thing that I've been saying for quite a while is, how I feel about Insomniac Games over on PlayStation Studios. They're definitely one of my top 3. For me, it'd be the number 1 developer for Sony, and they have carried the load for PlayStation for years. Well, I'm going to say this, and I don't think I'm being slanderous. I'm going to tell you right now that Obsidian is that Insomniac Games for Xbox Game Studios. And I say that with respect because you see how many games that Insomniac Games has made for PlayStation when all of their other studios were taking 6, 7, 8 years to make a game, right? Well, just look at what Obsidian has done. Not only they have Grounded, right? They have a Pentiment that came out, The Outer Worlds. They have The Outer Worlds 2 later this year, and now this. And this has now become a raging franchise. This is going to be their Elder Scrolls moving forward because this game screams sequel. But I'm interested to get some of your thoughts and theories of how you've experienced it because, again, talking in the green room, one of the magnificent things seeing on social media, Kay, is how different everybody is playing. And it's so wild to see that literally games that I'm watching people play look different because of their play styles versus mine. It's unbelievable that this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. They really honed in on something, and like I said, I've said this on a few other shows before. Every game, and I push back on the idea that this game is not revolutionary. Every game, these genres are mature at this point, and by maturity, I mean there have been so many generations of iterations of this genre type that at this point, most of the hallmarks and the formula that makes up an RPG, a Western RPG of this type, has been well worn. So we all know what to expect and what those requirements are, and what makes up what we would consider a decent RPG. So iterating and having something new and putting some innovation in the mix is always a very difficult thing to do. So while you'll get a lot of tried and true formulaic stuff, you'll also get something that they put their twinge on it, and then that's their calling card. And to me, in this game, their calling card is play your way. That's their calling card. Like no other RPG is more play your way than this. Any way you choose to play, it is available to you. Every other RPG like artificially limits you because you said you are a mage, right? You're a mage. So you'll see a sword that's on that floor. You'll never be able to pick it up, or you'll pick it up and you'll never be able to enjoy, you'll never be able to enable it or equip it because you already made a decision at the top that you would be a mage, right? This game both gives you the hardest of hardcore RPG OG systems, as well as the freedom to explore with whatever the heck you want, right? And honestly, I think it does it to such a unique degree that this is its calling card. This is something that it has done that I don't think any other game has done before. Can you imagine you're playing a game, right? You're playing Hogwarts Legacy, and at a moment's notice, you're now playing Call of Duty, and you can do that in this game.
Yeah, yes, you can.
Right? Seriously, no. You think we're being hyperbolic? No, you can do that. You can literally set it up so that one loadout is a grimoire, wizarding book with your wand, right? And you are casting spells left and right, and then with the press of the Y button, bam, you got 2 dual pistols, or you got yourself a shotgun, or you got yourself a rifle or something like that. And the later game versions of those rifles are doing such damage, and they're doing such repeatable damage that you're literally playing a first-person shooter at this point. It's not just take a quick shot and then go back to using your melee. No, this is a full-fledged FPS, run and gun, bang, bang, headshots, feels great, the whole situation. Even though with that same press of that Y button, you're back to Hogwarts Legacy. Like, yes. It is wild that they've been able to pull this off the way they have. And graphically, it is beautiful while doing it. I honestly think like this is a very, very interesting and awesome experience. Like awesome. And I've played a lot of some of the historical reference points that this is harkening back to. I've played some of those OG old school RPGs. You know, these days I play a lot of the Western RPGs. I've dabbled on the Eastern RPGs. I tend to be a single player person. I tend to be a bit beginning, middle, and end type player. So all this is catnip for me. And I love, obviously, when you're playing this game, if you've played enough of them, you can tell where their inspirations are coming from. But I love how they've put this together. You know, I love that Obsidian is literally becoming the hot topic alternative to Bethesda. Like, I love that, right? Like, oh, you make your Fallout, well, here's the Outer Worlds. Bam, what you gonna do about that, right? Oh, you make your Skyrim, well, here's Avowed, right? And they're all just different enough and are just fresh enough that both of them can stand on their own too, and each of them present something interesting and different. So for me, it's a triumph. I think this game is awesome. I plan on I'm kind of no-lifing it now, but I plan on not no-lifing it anymore. I plan on sipping this thing slowly. I will say, you know, for those of us on the PC contingent, we are eating good. This thing plays so amazing. But even on a console, I've tried it on the console for a bit. Plays wonderfully, no issues, rock solid. You know, I'll say after the recent patch, it's crashed on me once or twice recently. day one, it was perfect. After the recent patch, it crashed on me once or twice. So I don't know what that's about. We shall see if that
Yeah,
materializes.
the patch is 1.2.2. That they
Yeah.
dropped that yesterday, I think.
Yeah. Since that day, I've had at least 2 or 3 crashes, right? Which isn't terrible, but still it is notable. So maybe something was undone.
I
But
would
needless
definitely
to
say
say,
drop there if you got a line to them. I
Yeah.
think if you go to Twitter,
Yeah.
their account is open for DMs. Shoot them a
Yep.
DM.
Yep. And besides, they passed me a code so I can reach out to them and say, hey,
Excellent. Yes.
I've noticed this, that, and the third. But no, all in all, I would say honestly, if you're on the fence, if you're not sure, like don't let others steer you wrong, right? You might not like it. Hey, you might not like it. But if you're watching this show, chances are you have Game Pass. Give it a shot.
Yep.
You will most likely be surprised at what you play. This game is like far more dynamic than even they marketed it out to be. Like it's very 4 quadrant. There's a lot here for a lot of different kinds of people. So give it a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say this: the optimization before we bring in Umbra is astounding. Obviously, there is a 30 4K mode which you can play, and it is a single player game, so maybe that's okay with you. I've played plenty of 4K 30 games that were single player, and they were fine. There is a 60. I believe it's 1880p. I think. But you can run it in 60. It runs great. But if you are like many of us who have upgraded their TVs or their rigs or their monitors, and you have the ability for 120 hertz, the way that I've been playing it since inception has been all bells whistles 40. There's a medium setting, right? Play the middle setting. You're gonna thank me for it. You get the graphics, you get the ray tracing. My TV does VRR, which is great. It unlocks the frame rate, which is awesome. And it just, I mean, look, you're seeing it on your screen. This is potato quality at 1080p, and it looks this good, right? So, I mean,
that
just
VRR
imagine
is something special. I used it with what's the name of the game with the girl Amicia and her brother.
Oh, the one with the rats.
Yes.
Yes.
Before they
Yes.
brought it to 60, I used
Plague's
it on
Tale. Plague's Tale. Yes.
Plague's Tale. Yep.
See, these are the moments when we have these conversations that I tend to be quiet, because if we really have to talk about that, I would tell you that my game is running at 4K at 144 frames.
Oh, I believe it. Yes, I believe it.
Okay, you preaching to the choir here for my.
I'm sorry, I'm a peasant, and I'll just look from the sidelines.
No,
there you
we're
go.
not. We're not. This is not a peasantry conversation. This is more to say that the game is quite well optimized. It's quite well.
It really is. It really is. Listen, Blue Marvel in the chat asks, "Will this get DLC?" But so here's the thing.
I hope so.
It's not officially planned, but based on the reception the game has gotten, I believe that it's in the cards. Again, there's no official announcement from Carrie Patel when she asked about it, right? That people asked numerous times, and she says that it's something they're considering. So you could get a Avowed maybe 1.5 a year from now. Maybe they give us a beefy DLC. We'll see. This is definitely getting a sequel. And again, I really think that this game is going to have a lot of long legs, because word of mouth is making this chart. It's charting on Steam for sales. It's charting on Xbox Game Pass. It's charting in community conversation. That is how you know, ladies and gentlemen, you have something special. So, Umbra, we haven't had a chance to talk. So I want to get your experiences, because obviously you just got to the second hub, which again, they call it a hub. And I saw some people trying to downplay it as, well, not being open world. They told you that it was an open world. It's an open hub area.
Right.
But you can attest that you have what 40 hours in the first hub trying to do everything. Think about that for a second, folks. That is
Now,
crazy.
I'm a particular kind of nut, but
Well,
the th-
we walk side by side because we have
Mhm.
OCD problems that are
For
that
sure.
we want to do everything here there. But let's hear what you've experienced so far.
And that's the thing, they call it a hub, but it doesn't really do its service, right?
I
It's
agree.
you
Yeah.
could say semi-open, even that's better, but it even feels different than the semi-open because semi-open games we play, like for instance, a God of War, it's nowhere near this big on a general map. This maps are really big, and we're talking about not just going inside like underground and water or whatever. You're going at verticality for climbing up whatever mountainsides and stuff like that, and cliffs or whatever. It's pretty wide open spaces, so it gives you the feeling of an open world, even though it's not. And I don't think this needs to be that. I don't think, every game like this needs to be some big open world. I think the way they've got it here, in my opinion, I think they've captured exactly what it needs to be. Personally, just to say too, we talk about Obsidian being a workhorse for Microsoft.
Yep.
And they have been. I mean, you look at the games they've put out, and they've been quality games. We talk about everything from Grounded. You talk about Pentiment, which I enjoyed. I know it's not something that's going to be everybody like, oh, I'm going to play some Pentiment. I get it. It's not that type of game. It's not that. This is not the medium for that, really. Most people are not going to get attuned to something like that. But it's a passion project for Josh Sawyer, and I'm glad he got a chance to do it. I say all that to say, Obsidian now has 2 games that we know of coming this year. That's this. And of course, Outer Worlds 2. Outer Worlds 2 is looking really great. It's looking, you can see visually it's improved from the first one.
Yep.
I'm sure mechanically it's better. I'll talk about the sequel for this, and we talk about the expansions or DLC possibilities. In my mind, from what they've turned out, I would like for Microsoft, the Xbox, whatever you want to call them, to really focus on giving them bigger budgets for their projects. Because I think this franchise or this game here could be a big franchise for them, and it'll be crazy to have.
I think it could be their Elder Scrolls. I think it could be their Fallout. I'm sorry,
that's the crazy thing to say when they own the Elder Scrolls, but but I agree. Like this could be something that's akin to that, right? And I don't even want to put it in, give it that much of a comparison, but I'm sure some people would get what you said it was Elder Scrolls, boom. So let me clear it up before they do that. But I feel like this could be Obsidian's Elder Scrolls. It won't be Elder Scrolls.
Absolutely could. You know what's something interesting? Let's see, who was it over here? Bernard Miller. Welcome, Bernard. Thanks so much for being here. He says Obsidian has at least 3 teams at the moment, maybe 4. I actually think they do have 4 because they are working on something else. We just don't know what that else is, and it's not this, and it's not the Outer Worlds 2. It's an else. What is that else? I don't know.
I don't know. But like that's the thing. Like there's a workhorse is workhorsing. I want Microsoft to really not just reward them, but like to really put them in a position of delivering a AAA experience, because I think this is a AA game, I would say, right? Or it's a possibility it's AAA. I don't want to say it's not. I don't know for certain the budget, but I feel like giving them a stronger budget and the time they need, I feel like they could really churn out something that's close to a masterpiece, because this is already great. So imagine they getting more the time they need to get the team members they need to do what they do. They got Unreal Engine on lock. They have the support they need with the coalition and other teams to help them. They have the foundation of this franchise already. It's so much more. I think they can go. They can go with a sequel. Honestly, all of that said, my journey has been special because I've noticed like certain choices you can make, and so it was one specific. I can't give anything away, so I'm gonna have to be very careful how I say what I say. But there were missions I did here where how do I put this? Okay, well, there's a part in here where you have to find somebody, and I'll just say an assassin. You have to find an assassin, and you can choose to talk it out, and you can choose to fight it out. Well, I chose both, and I loaded up to see what would happen. And nothing immediately. But once I got to a certain area, I found a companion of mine murdered because I chose a different option. So there are consequences. And this was actually a person you all would recognize, by the way. I'm not going to say what and who, but I'm just saying, and I'll say this when we have our roundtable discussion, but I just like the fact that you can, and I see you got multiple saves, by the way, very wise.
Oh, brother, I got like 20.
Very wise of you. Yeah. If you all don't know better, have multiple saves. Risk It just got caught by that. When you
I
get one
heard.
save,
Yeah.
and it got corrupted. So, but that all of that said, I like that the games gives you these options, and it actually is some consequences. Might not be earth shattering or shaking, but I like that they give that, and you get a sense of the things you're doing mattering, right? They have what I would say too. It's not very cinematic, but it's more cinematic than say Starfield. Oddly enough, it's more cinematic than Starfield. You have moments, for instance, when Lodwin, I forgot Lodwin, when she'll walk in, for instance, and you'll see this small little cutscene of entrance. And so you have different things that they do, I think, better than Bethesda themselves do, that I would want them to really expand on. So the game has a lot of that, moments like that. The combat, I don't have to go on. I mean, people watching you now, you throwing down meteors and ice baths and rocks that people hit and light spears stabbing them with it.
Did you find that light spear?
I did not find it, and I've been
Oh
looking
my
everywhere.
God, you're kidding me.
I have not found it. I'm like, where's that?
I found one that has the meteor shower, the ice storm, that and something else. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. This got all 4 of the elements, and it's got that spear. I maxed out that spear to the point where it's doing massive damage when I get hit with that thing. You'll see some of it. It's crazy.
It just looks badass too, to just pull a lightning spear out of nowhere to start stabbing people. This looks dope. It looks like something out of a manga or something. But also too, I found a bunch of weapons though. I found a bunch, and for one instance is this 2-handed sword. I forgot the name of it right now, but it has like poison on it. It looks
very
dope.
nice.
Yeah, it's dope, and it's I'm using the sword and shield right now, but I might switch it up. But yeah, I'm just loving a lot of this, man. It definitely it calls back, and I don't want to keep making a comparison because I know some people are really extra with it, and they'll be like, "Oh, you said," but it does give me the feeling of an Oblivion or Skyrim. It really does, in the best of ways.
For me, it's Oblivion, like almost 1-to-1. Like that is one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
It's on my Mount Rushmore, as you know.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
But no, I love it. And to go to your point of the last part is just to say, for those still on the fence, you have PlayStation fans and fanboys, because there's a bit of a difference, but you have some diehard fanboys who are even giving this game praise, who are playing it. And
it's a great game.
Yeah. So if they're saying this and they're putting aside their fanboyism to say, hey, this is a good game, you all should play it, that should tell you enough right there. And I mean, they are really enjoying it, sharing images and everything like we would. Shout out to Mark, by the way. I wouldn't call you a fanboy, but you're dominant.
He's a PlayStation fan, and that's
guy,
awesome.
Right?
Yeah,
and
that's
even
awesome.
he's like a 9 out of 10. Like, come on. So this right here, I think is an experience that Microsoft needs to capitalize on and make sure they push. I just hope that if it's an expansion or whatever it is, I hope they continue pushing this and give them the proper budget they need to really shine.
I agree. I think, first of all, they are, meaning Obsidian, they're just workaholics. They're workhorses. Again, they have 4 teams. They are the Insomniac Games of Xbox Game Studios. They are 1-to-1, in my opinion. And of course, if you think otherwise, I'm not going to fight you on it. But Insomniac, one of my favorite developers over at PlayStation Studios, I would say this without having a second heartbeat of it. These 2 studios, they may not mirror each other because they don't make the same type of games, but their work ethic and the work that they put into their platform, clear as day, leaders, both of them. I am going to say this. I saw somebody ask about, your choices mattering. The one thing I learned very late is you can at any moment respec your whole character by spending 2,500 gold that you find in the world. There are no microtransactions in this thing. And there was a particular mission on the 4th hub region, and I needed to get a particular person out of jail, right? He's there. I gotta get this guy out. And I didn't want to fight the group that was guarding him. So I tried having a conversation, and I kept failing because I didn't have, my perception was too low, right? So I said, okay, I found a way to sneak in to the place without having to fight. And I get to this said person, and he's like, yeah, listen, you got to get the key from so and so who's in front. And I'm like, oh man, this is not going to go good. So the minute I walk out, they attack. I come back to the front, they attack. I'm like, you know what? This is why you got to save all the time. What I did is I saved around the corner, and I respect my character, and I boosted my perception all the way up to 10. And when I had the conversation, I needed a 7, and the said person was like,
Nice.
yeah, you know what? You're right. Here's the key. And I'm like, oh, yes. And I wish I would have known that early on, because, again, these are some of the things that the game does really well. As we all know with Bethesda games, the word encumbered puts people into the rocking motion. Like this. They're rocking. Because it's something that happens, and you're like, I got to get rid of this gear. Obsidian has figured out the greatest way so that doesn't happen. The minute you get over encumbered, all you do is go into your equipment, you go to it, you press X, and you send it to your stash, and that's it. Right from
Talk
there.
about accessibility options, Boom.
Yeah,
Like, you
dude,
can't get better than that.
It's so you don't have to throw away anything. You just send it right to your camp. And even better than that, ladies and gentlemen, when you're out on those streets doing what you do, and you come across, an NPC that you can buy things from, you don't have to go back to your stash to get everything. Nope. You hold in the right stick, and it goes to your stash, and you can sell your stuff from your stash to this person. There's no fuss, no muss, no coconuts. It's amazing.
Super convenient.
These are like the little things.
One thing I wanna bring up real quick, which I've heard people talk about, and I feel like it begs a quick conversation before we get out of here, which is the idea that you can steal whatever you want and no one says anything, right? First off, I have heard the idea that there is a story reason why they do that, because you are, of course, the envoy when you come into the story. So you basically have ultimate authority. Nobody can really step in front of you and say you can't do this. But even beyond that, I don't know if you've noticed this. There's a part in the game where I go and I grab something. I like, as you do, because like you guys, I heard Obsidian say, "Oh, most people won't be able to conquer or step foot on every piece of the map before the end." And then we all went mission accepted. I have literally walked across almost the entire friggin' map, and I'm like 20. I'm a day and some hours into the game, so I'm there. But I'm just grabbing stuff, resources. I've been told you're supposed to grab resources, so I'm grabbing whatever I can get my hands on. And I'm in the city, and I grab a piece of resources, and I hear an NPC say, "Oh, you're bold enough to grab resources from lost souls. Good for you." Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that.
And they said it in this tongue-in-cheek kind of snarky way, from like, "You're robbing from the dead. Well, all right, player, you do you," kind of a thing, right? Like, that's how they said. And I'm just like, I thought people said you could rob whatever you want. No, you can't. Like, these people are literally like giving you verbal lashings for taking the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Let me tell you how hypocritical I am now hearing that dialogue. I was in a cemetery and I found these people who were robbing graves.
That's early on. Yeah, that's early on.
Yeah. So now I'm a hypocrite because I took that lady out. I took her out the game, and I was like, "Yeah, you're robbing these dead people." And then lo and behold, they're saying the same thing to me. I didn't know. Oops. Yeah. I'm the envoy though. Y'all can't do what I do.
That's right. but Boom, to the earlier conversation about there being DLC, I really hope, and and this is not a comparison, so don't come for me unless I send for you. I really hope, like much like how Elden Ring has captured the energy and
That's
the
a great
zeitgeist of the
one-to-one,
community,
dude.
right?
Yeah.
It's captured that, much like how Breath of the Wild with its open worlds also captured the zeitgeist, and then it led to them both releasing more content in this kind of a world. Here's to hoping that Obsidian's got another one in the chamber ready for us with this thing, maybe in a year or so. You know what I mean? That'd be amazing.
I mean, look, this is eventually going to go to PlayStation. I
Yes.
believe that's what they're probably focusing on, is to get this for PlayStation and maybe even Switch. Which at this point, folks, I know there's going to be some people like, oh my god, we're talking. Listen, it's happening. It's fine. It's fine. Are you playing it now? Are you enjoying it? Yes, that is all that should matter. You're enjoying it, and that's it. Right? We're having a great time with it. And that's probably what they're going to focus on. They're going to continue to update it. They're going to add, like, there's a lot of people asking for a photo mode. Like, you can turn off the HUD.
100% need that
You,
photo mode though.
you need we need a photo mode, because what I want to do is, in certain battles, I want to be able to swing that camera around and see
Exactly.
my character in
Yep.
third person, because I only play in first person. Fighting, doing the
Same.
magic. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I think that it would be amazing.
It'd be dope to get a image of your guy with the spell casting while he's doing Doctor Strange hand motion.
Yes. And you know something, that I saw Nico Muller have this power, and I have to reach out to him. It's a magic power where you get 6 arms.
Oh, I saw that earlier.
And he lifts everybody up and then crashes them down. I'm like, holy where do I get that?
You know what? You should at this point have it already. The option of it. It's one of the powers, the godlike powers, apparently.
Oh, I don't have it.
You probably chose a different option and didn't get it.
No. I mean, like, I'm still missing a couple of the god powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
I haven't gotten all the god powers yet. I just got one. I think I have 3 or 4. I don't have that one. I have taken them all. Every time that they offer it to you, you can say no or just stay quiet. No, give me powers.
Okay, you greedy like me. Okay, I didn't know what you did. Okay, yeah. So I guess it's still coming there. It's probably like on the in-game last ones you get, I suppose. I'm guessing.
I'm gonna say this. Again, this is one of those things, folks. Again, we're at the the 70-ish minute mark. We're gushing about this game. A lot of people in the chat are gushing over this game. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to actually say hello and type in your name. Like, I really enjoy saying hello to everyone that's here. Big thank you to over 500 people that are watching live across Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. We definitely appreciate it. Play the game, enjoy the game. Don't spoil it. Take all the pictures you want. Put your pictures out there. Put your gameplay out there. I think what we're witnessing is an early, and again, I understand it's early. It's only February, folks. I think that this is going to be a game, even though it's an 80 meta, it's going to get word of mouth. People are going to play this game. People are going to be talking about this game for weeks, for months, and you're going to hear different stories. You're going to hear different builds. There's going to be multiple playthroughs. Like, I'll tell you right now, straight up, like, I am actually dreading beating the game. Like, seriously, I don't know if anyone's have experienced that before. I am dreading beating the game.
That's when you're loving it. Yeah, I've had that.
I don't want it to end. I really don't.
Mean.
I am just Hyper King X3 says it's a chef's kiss. And indeed, kind sir. Welcome as always.
Let me ask you guys one question before we do head out. And we're giving all the superlatives, we're getting all the praise. What is the one thing you would say you wish they did do, or what you would like them to do in a sequel?
I got a list right here. I got a list of 4 things.
Okay.
Four things. I'll give you one.
Okay.
For me, because leveling up is very difficult. I mind you, I have 90 hours. I'm level 28.
Oh, you're 2 points away, right? Because I think you want to go to 30.
Right. So I'm going to get there. The thing that I wish that they did is enemy respawns in areas, because once you clear out, like, let's say for instance you find like a base with a bunch of baddies and you go in there and you wipe them out. When you go back, it's just barren. And
Yeah.
that's not the whole game. I mean, obviously, you know, the more you progress through the game, the more you open up the map, the more baddies you find. But what starts to happen is I just wish that there were respawns in certain areas with certain creatures. Now, granted, I'm at a part in the game where that's starting to happen with the dreams, you know, with the dream scroll, you know, the people that are corrupted, and
Right.
they're just littered all over the place. So you're constantly fighting. That's how far I am in the game. But I would, if I had to pick one thing I would like them to do that wasn't the photo mode, it would be respawn on certain like places
Creatures
where
and
like
yeah.
where they're big pieces of the map where you fight a lot of people. I'd like
Mhm.
for those to respawn because I would actually grind the levels.
I guess that's probably why they did it, right? Because you can only go to level 30, and I think that was their measure to counteract that. But I agree with you though. It feels weird. It's cool though. Like you kill them, hey, you dead. Everything is dead over here. There's
Yeah.
no coming back. No more resurrections, as Thanos would say. But I do agree. It would be nice for that to happen. I'm just assuming they must have done it for leveling reasons.
Yeah. Now, what's your want your personal ask?
You know what? I'll let Kay go, then I'll give mine just because I asked the question for you guys.
Okay, that's fair.
Hey, what's
So
yours?
my personal one, and mine's a weird one. It's a weird one, and we discussed this in the cheap plug in my Discord. We were talking about it. I love this game, been playing this game forever, but it does something non-standard that, for as many hours as I'm playing it, still bothers me. It's that it puts the jump button and the dash button on the same A button, depending on what you do. So
Yes.
So,
So you can
like-
actually dash into the lava and die. I did that.
all the time,
Yes.
all the time. Like you're used, if you've played these games before, you're used to moving around in a certain way. You're used to moving strategically, right? When you want to dodge, you press the dodge button. When you want to jump, you press the jump button. And when you press the jump button, what it does is you can jump backwards, you can jump to the left, jump to the right, jump to back, right? So you can keep the enemy in full view while you're jumping, right? This game doesn't let you do that. If you hit the jump button to the left, you're dodging to the left. If you hit the jump button to the right, you're dodging to the right. The only time you are jumping and moving left or right is if you hit the jump button first and then hit the directional pad to the other direction. Like I had a conversation with people in the chat about this thing. I honestly think they reinvented this wheel and it didn't need reinventing. What do you call it? Starfield has already solved the problem. Make it the back button, right? The main reason that people are giving for why they needed to make this change, because normally the dash button should be B, right? The crouch button should be right click, should be R3, right?
Right.
R3 is actually the change of first to third perspective. So they're like, well, they needed to account for it, and that's why they did that. Well, you could have done the Starfield example and made it the back button, right? There were other ways to do it, because what they've done, in my estimation now, is they've changed a standard button that muscle memory. You know what kind of game you're playing, especially me coming from Dragon Age that I put hundreds of hours into that did have a standard layout. The minute you come here, now you're slip sliding all over the place. Like I have gameplay footage where I am literally falling, as Boom was saying, falling into lava left and right, because I am mentally jumping to the right, but instead I dash. Right?
Yeah.
And the big problem is there's no way to remap it. Like even if you change the button to a B, now your jump and dash turns to B. You can't separate jump and dash, which is a huge problem. They should have allowed you to separate jump and dash, because many games have jumps and dashes and they're not the same button.
Fair criticism.
That is the only big criticism I have. It's taken me, I've literally a day and some hours in this game. I love this game. but still, every once in a while, what happened? Oh yeah, K fell into the lava. Why? Because he jumped when he dashed when he meant to jump. You know what I'm saying? It keeps happening.
You're too close to the edge and you don't see it, and you dash by accident.
Well, you
fall
know you're
off.
close to the edge, right? But you're close to the edge. There's some mushroom mother effers coming for you, so you're not trying to take your eye off the ball. So maybe you jump to the left real quick onto the ledge. Oh, I forgot that jump is a dash. Oops, and now you're dead.
Those mushrooms be on your ass too.
And then you get that somber music into the
exactly.
Oh, I hate
you're
that,
just
by
like
the
you
way.
sonsa. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that because it takes way too long to let you respawn. By the way, I'm like,
That's
right.
right.
I know I'm dead. I feel you on that one. I've gotten so used to it, it's whatever for me, but I do hear you on this. It's just the thing we've become so accustomed to in other games. It feels off-putting where you changed it here. But I do like the fact that you can press it and instantly pull your weapons out though. So I can dodge and like, oh, pull my weapons out, like, oh, I'll cut you. I do like that. But that said, for me, mine is aesthetics. One of them at least, and one of the thoughts I had. You have no helmet options on here. There's no helmet or hat.
Good one.
Yes. It's a very weird not to have in a game like this, I would think, right? It's so odd because
it is odd that there is no helmet.
Yes. Yeah, there's no helmet you can put on, no hood.
Leave it to the Lord of the drip to recognize when drip is missing.
Gotta have
what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. You already know what it is. You all in the chat know it too. You playing these fantasy games, you want your guy.
No horses, no weird chocobo variant.
I mean, if you look at my like there, I look
you know.
decent. In some of the later ones, I got some weird ass clothes.
But imagine you had a cape or something with that boom and a helmet. You look like
I want to look like Gandalf.
You see,
I look like me. That's
well, you want to look like Gandalf. Wait, I think you have the option of giving yourself a long white beard now.
Yeah, I could. Yes, that's true. That's true.
But I saw somebody actually make somebody that looks kind of like that. But that said, yeah, no helmet or hat or hoodie option seems a little off-putting because no matter what you switch into, is just like, oh, my face is out there. And I say that because I fought this guy and I got their robe and it looks badass, but it's like, oh, he had a hood though. He looked cool with his. I can't wear a hood with mine though. So I'm just out there. I mean, my guy is handsome enough, I suppose, but still. So that's my only not major, but that's one of my gripes, I would say. If I really had to think on it, I'm going to think of some more that I know that probably are worth mentioning, but that's the one right now I'm thinking of because it was on my mind earlier.
I mean, and they're all good points from everybody. Again, there's going to be some small things that you'd like to see changed. And again, this is stuff that they could use to bring towards a sequel. These little touches. You know what I'm saying? And again, they'll get there, but ultimately, this is a phenomenal experience, folks. Again, this isn't. Please do not fall for the virtual banana in the tailpipe with the console war shenanigans. This is a game that you should enjoy. It doesn't matter whether people gave it a 6. Even though I think it's wrong, I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to front. I think 6s and 7s are egregious.
Mm-hmm.
I even think low 8s are egregious. I gave it a 9.5, and not because I got it for free. Folks, I went out and bought the $100 edition anyway because I wanted that cloth map, which I'm having framed. P.S. by the way. That cloth map is 18 by 16. It's dope AF. And I went out and bought it. I got the $100 edition for review, but I still went out and dropped the money. And again,
you could say you're supporting the devs.
Yeah, I mean, indeed. And I'm happy. I'm happy to do it because this game has stolen my life. It's all I want to play, and like I said, I'm pretty far along. And here's the other thing. Just a quick piece of advice, and we'll get everyone out of here. You will not be tricked into not knowing you're at the end because there's literally a choice that tells you can't go further. You can't go back after this choice.
That's Obsidian in general. They always do.
Yeah. So just so you know, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, how I got to the end and I didn't even know. No. They let you know, and they really let you know that you don't go further if you want to do your side quests and you want to find more weapons, you want to level up, whatever. By the time I get to the end, I will hit level 30. I'm gonna hit level. I think I should hit at least 29 this evening. But that's gonna do it for us here. Let me just catch up on the super chat to see. We got a couple more here. We have Day Reezy drops a very generous $2 super chat. Day Reezy says, "Breaking news: Xbox better." That's all. I mean, Xbox is hitting on all cylinders. They really are. And it's just, we are eating good in the neighborhood. That's all I could say. If you are an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you are winning. That's all I can say. Bounty drops, who's been a channel member. Look at this, 44 months, brother. That is crazy generous of you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for always being here. He goes on to say, this is not my type of game, but I tried it and still can't play this type of game, but I have to give it its props for me to play as third person. Yeah, a lot of people play in third person. The fact Crispy Bomb is playing solely in third person right now. I don't know whether or not he beat the bear, but he was having some trouble with that damn bear. Game Seeker drops a very generous 2 Canadian. Thank you so much for the generosity, brother. Game Seeker, appreciate you being here. He says in all caps, Xbox better. And I'd agree there, kind sir. They are doing better, and we are winning. Our brother, Pixel Bit G in the chat. Welcome.
Pixel,
It's nice
what
to
up?
see you here. He drops a very generous $2 super chat. And he says, I broke a wall and something started yelling for fuzz. So he broke a wall and the popo was called. Get out of Dodge there, Pixel. So listen, thank you everyone for hanging out with us, laughing it up, having a good time in the chat, just celebrating one of the best games of 2025 so far. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you're not, I mean, I'm not going to fight you on it, but at least give it a shot. I think there is enough here, especially if you are someone that is already subscribed. Again, it's a download. That's all it is. And if it doesn't work out for you, then you just delete it. Just give it a shot. But Que Asante, let's sell the brand. And I would imagine that this conversation is going to continue this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the new episode of the Gaming Circle podcast with you and, of course, Everborn, who is playing it and absolutely loving it. You guys are going to have a round table discussion. You probably have a couple of guests to come in and talk about it. Sell the brand, brother. Where can people subscribe to your YouTube channel? But more importantly, follow you on social media.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, always great to have awesome panel members and as usual, awesome chat to always jump on here on a Wednesday and have great chats with us. So thank you guys for being here. As you say, Boom, I will be with my boy, Mr. Everborn Saga, on this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will, of course, be having the more chats, talk about more games. Yes, Avowed will be mentioned. I suspect Avowed will be mentioned because, as you say, he has been playing it. I have been playing it. I've been trying to play other games as well, but Avowed has been a heavy rotation, and we're gonna keep talking about it and all the great things that we've seen, and maybe some of the not so good things or whatever. So tune in and check us out on Saturday morning. But of course, it's always a pleasure being here with you guys. Always a pleasure chopping it up with the great Infinite Umbra. You can catch me and Umbra and all the rest of us. We always tend to congregate in the Discord, so catch us there as well. Thank you all so much.
Well, thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here. And of course, hashtag Xbox Better. We should use that. We should start using that in the chat. Hashtag Xbox Better. I love it. And that, I don't know who originated that, but we gotta give the shout out to whoever originated hashtag Xbox Better. Listen, Avowed Umbra. Let's get your where could people check out your show tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Chi-Town time on The Fix with Daniel McGee. You guys get together each and every week. And of course, I would imagine that at some point, maybe we get a Captain America conversation because you guys do talk about pop culture. But I think that the standard conversation is going to be Avowed. Where can people check out that show live? Subscribe to your YouTube channel, but more importantly, follow you on social media.
Yes, sir. I was going to echo my good brother K's sentiments. The panel here, myself and you guys being here, always a pleasure, of course, especially after I missed Tuesday. So it was good to kind of get a rebound and be here and speak with you and chop it up with you, and have the chat family with us tonight. So shout out to you, Boom, for having me. Kay, always a pleasure hearing your thoughts and everything and your wisdom on things, of course. For myself, Infinite Umbra or Umbra Infinite, you'll find me either way on social media. Thursdays at 8 o'clock Eastern for The Fix. And thank you, Soil Tech. I see you in the chat. I appreciate that. It is a great show. I would agree with myself and Daniel J. McGee. I just call him Danny. But yeah, come by sometime, guys, and check us out. I know Thursdays is really crowded, so I understand if you guys' attentions are spread across, elsewhere. So I really do understand that. But I would hope that you guys give us a chance sometime and join us in our conversation. We have great conversations about all types of things, like Boom alluded to, from not just gaming, but to wrestling, to movies, to manga, to anime, whatever it may be, shows. So we do all of that. We got to expand on it a bit more to really dive into that, but we do all of that, and it's really kind of powered by how the audience wants to. If you guys want to really join in that type of stuff, we can really push those views, excuse me, that discussion, should I say, for that too. Dover had mentioned, he said a bit behind, but maybe no headgear because of godlike features. I thought about that, and it could be it. And by the way, I'm sorry, I could not put all that stuff on my face and head. I was just like, nah, like I fell inside some seaweed in the sea. I couldn't do it. And not a one you got on your face, Boom, I think is cool. It's little, little circular scar or whatever. I'm like, okay, that's all right. But
yeah, I left it on.
And stuff, I'm like, nah, I don't want to see shit.
And I took my time. That, again, it doesn't look like me 1-to-1, but it's close.
Yeah, he looks similar. Actually, it looks a little similar, like you.
Got the
like
mohawk going on and everything, which I just got my do cut today. So
that's the younger Boom right there. Yeah,
indeed it is. A much younger Boom.
I can see it. But yeah, shout out to the chat family for being here, holding us down. And I'll just say this last thing, as far as Avowed is concerned, we always talk about, oh, this should have done this, and now they didn't give blah, blah, blah. What we can do is be that change that we always talk about. So oftentimes I'll post gameplay clips. Boom does his thing where he's posting and he's talking about these games. You guys can do that too. Join in on that. Post stuff on social media about this game and get their word of mouth out there so other people can know about this and see it. You don't probably going to think, I'm not working at Microsoft. Yeah, but you love the game, right? Share that love. It's okay. Yeah. I share my love of what I'm playing. And speaking of Kay mentioning multiple games, I had jumped into a game by one of his favorite studios with House Mark, and that was Nex Machina. Played on the Rock Ally. Got about a few hours into it. It was okay. Nice. It was all right. Kay made sure, to rub that in my face that House Mark put in some good work. But yeah, it's a pretty good game. But just
nothing, sir. My mission is accomplished. I don't say nothing.
But yeah, but you all enjoy gaming, do your thing, and share your love for this out there. Indeed. You don't have to shield for it to speak your love.
You don't have to shell, you don't have to glaze. You can simply just, hey, I'm having fun. Look at these pictures I took. Put them on the socials. Let people celebrate your excitement with you and celebrate as a community. Instead of fighting with each other, instead of pointing fingers, instead of Xbot versus Pony, celebrate what you're enjoying. And that's the one thing I will, again, I know we're getting out of here, but if you just look at the socials, people are legitimately just having so much fun, finding things, taking pictures, doing things that other people didn't know about, walking on water with the ice power going. I had no idea. Listen, this is something to be celebrated. Do not let the negative people in the community. And that's the other thing. I will say this, again, getting out of here. But I will say that one thing I noticed almost immediately, all the negativity surrounding this game has been drowned out. I have seen none of it in the last 3 days. It's just been everyone excited about it being number one for sales, about the people taking hundreds, if not thousands, of pictures of this thing. It's just celebrate, folks. So there is something.
Those who are actually playing it are loving it. Those who the grifters are the only ones who are trying to make us think about it. That's literally it.
And just put them on the pain of mind list. That's all. That's take them off the show. Put them on the pain of mind list. Bye. Have a nice day.
Yep.
But that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for checking us out. Please, all the links for Kay Asante and Infinite Umbra are in the show notes. I'm going to be dicing this up into two different parts. We're going to talk about, one of its sales, second about our experiences. I'll throw it up on the channel tomorrow. So if you don't have the time to sit and watch the 90-minute show, you can, I cut out all the small talk, and it's just us talking about the game. And I've gotten a lot of really good feedback for that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for all the super chats and the channel memberships that continue to pop into the, to the show, that help us financially behind the scenes. We do truly appreciate it. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.